Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a ridiculous story for you here today titled "My Wife Lost It When I Served Her with Divorce Papers After I Discovered Her 8-Year Secret Affair." It's always funny to me how women will lose their marbles, okay? They will go off their rocker at dudes who discover that they've done something wrong. Right, whether it be cheating or the man has been mistreated for a very long period of time. It's crazy how the women will act indignant a lot of the times. They will get mad, they'll yell, they'll try and gaslight you, even though they were the ones who caused the issue in the first place. But guys, before we jump into this episode, don't forget to like the video on your way in. Don't forget to subscribe if you are new here, and let's take a listen to this particular story. So, a 38-year-old man discovers that the woman he trusted for over a decade has been living a double life, and he finds out not through a confrontation, but through an innocent text slip-up that exposed years of betrayal. He says, "I'm a 38-year-old male, and I was married to my wife, who is 37, for 13 years. We had met in college, we built a life together, and did all the things that a quote-unquote stable couple was supposed to do. We bought a house, we shared bank accounts, we dreamed about early retirement. I always thought we were on the same team. She was the more social one, while I was a bit more reserved. I always gave her space to hang out with friends or go on work retreats. I never felt the need to question anything, but I should have." Okay, so let's talk about this for a second, because as I'm reading this, I'm concerned that the man might be completely screwed, okay? So first of all, he owns a house with this woman, which is a terrible idea, guys. A lot of the times the dude is the breadwinner, and for whatever reason, even though he's paying the majority of the mortgage, if not all of it, dudes just always tend to buy a house with the woman. They put her name on everything legally, which is a terrible idea. A lot of these women are going to try and take that house from you in divorce. It's just a terrible idea. Sharing bank accounts. Why on earth would you ever share a bank account with somebody? I have no idea. And then moving on down here, she's the more social one, and he never questions what she does when she hangs out with friends or goes on work retreats. So this tells me, right, that the dude probably doesn't, this guy has probably been cheated on, as the story said. Like, you could just tell me this crap right here, and I could tell you there was a strong possibility that this man was getting cheated on, right? Because he's that naive guy who followed the life plan, who never questioned anything, and a lot of women will take advantage of that. He says, "It was about a year ago that things started feeling off. She began locking her phone. She started taking her laptop into the bathroom. She suddenly had a second phone for work, which she claimed her company provided, something that didn't seem strange at first. I tried not to let it eat away at me. I figured it was stress, hormones, age, something temporary, but my gut wouldn't shut up." So she has a second phone for work, right? Okay, this is where things start to get really sketchy, okay? You could say earlier on in this story, oh, everything's mostly fine. But now we're into the territory, okay, of second phones, taking laptops into the bathroom. This is where this dude has a gut feeling, and I wouldn't say that it's completely off. Okay, again, when men have a gut feeling about something, I think that you're probably within your best interests to trust that gut feeling and see where it takes you. He says, "What finally cracked it open was not dramatic. It wasn't walking in on her or something. It wasn't a friend tipping me off. It was a forgotten iCloud sync. We shared an old family iPad that we used for recipes and watching YouTube in the kitchen. She hadn't used it for years, but one day I noticed the Messages app had suddenly started getting notifications. Turns out her new work iPhone had the same Apple ID linked to the iPad, and the messages started rolling in." So I don't have like an Apple phone, right? I'm not one of these iPhone, iPad people. But from what I understand, this is true, right? All of the Apple products, they like to link and they like to, connect with each other and everything. So this makes sense to me. So she got a new phone. She didn't realize that it was connected to the iPad. It used the same Apple ID. So all of her messages were coming up on the iPad. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Finally, guys, we can thank Apple for something. Holy hell. He says, I read just a handful of them before everything became clear. They weren't from co-workers, they were from one dude, the same guy over and over. Messages like, when can I see you? He'll never know. Are you still wearing that necklace I got you? She replied with hearts and kisses and long paragraphs and photos. The man was not just a fling, he was somebody that she had known for years, an old colleague who had moved cities and apparently kept close contact with her, right? So this is a co-worker. This is a dude that she used to know from work. I'm telling you guys, like a lot of these women, they have work boyfriends, man. You know, they have dudes who have been in their past, men from their work, whether that be their current one or their previous one. And I think a lot of these dudes who are their co-workers represent a massive threat to relationships, and nobody seems to talk about it, guys. Like when women are at work, okay, and they're around these dudes, chances are they're going to exchange contact information. Chances are they're going to talk outside of work. Chances are, you know, at least there's a good odds that the man is going to try and make something happen. And like women just allow these things to be open a lot of the times, guys, right? You know, women with their Instagram accounts and their phone numbers and all of these things, they leave these things open for people to communicate with them on. A lot of women, it's not as though they have private Instagram accounts and stuff like this, okay? They're going to give out their contact information to these dudes that they work with. And again, I think co-workers are one of the biggest threats to modern day marriages and relationships, right? Let's continue. He says the affair had been going on for 8 years on and off behind my back during holidays, even while we were trying for a child, he says. I backed up the messages, I took screenshots, and I spoke to a lawyer. I stopped adding money to our joint account. I opened a new one. I transferred anything with my name on it back to my name only, and then I waited. He says, I served her the divorce papers on a Thursday afternoon when she had just come home from a client dinner. Again, like the lies are just so stupid, aren't they, guys? Like client dinner. You need to go to dinner with, why is your wife, right, or girlfriend or whatever, why is she going out to dinner with dudes and calling it a client dinner? What kind of job requires women to go out, you know, and court clients over dinner? You know, and they just expect dudes to be this gullible, man. She looked confused when she saw the envelope, and even more so when I calmly told her that I know everything. The messages, the hotel bookings, the lies, it's over. She froze, she started crying, she denied it, and then she started gaslighting me. She said, it's not what you think. It was just emotional. I was going to stop. He said I didn't respond. I'd spent a year hurting in silence, and now it was her turn. She did not expect me to leave. She genuinely didn't think that I would go through with it. In her head, I was the guy who would always be there. I was the dependable husband who would just endure it, but I wasn't that guy anymore. Within a month, I moved out. I changed my number, and I cut off contact except through lawyers. That's the way to do it, man. You know, the only contact you should be accepting from these people is through lawyers. I think that's great. She tried to win me back through friends, through family, through long emails begging me to reconsider. She said she was just lost, that she had been going through something, and that it never meant anything, but I knew better. You don't lie and cheat for 8 years unless you mean to. I found out she tried to contact the other man after I left. He ghosted her as well. He blocked her as well and moved on. I guess she thought he'd be waiting with open arms, except he wasn't. This is the absolute classic, guys, where like women say, okay, well, I've screwed up my marriage or I've screwed up my relationship, but at least this guy over here who I've been hooking up with for the last 8 years, at least he'll give me a relationship, right? The answer is typically no. Okay, these dudes, there's a reason why they don't push for a relationship with them in the first place. It's because they don't want one. They don't see these women as actual viable relationship material. They're just a bit of fun. So when everything falls down around them, guys, a lot of women, they think that they have like something to look forward to, but even that gets screwed up by their terrible decisions, which is absolutely hilarious. Guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next one. Peace.